It's October 23rd, one day after the Galactic Spiritual Informers Connection conference has concluded, and I'm here with Elena Danaan, who has agreed to relay messages from Thor Han Eredyon, and so we're going to do the third in a series of Q&As with Thor Han.
You're listening to Exopolitics Today with Dr. Michael Salla, your source for the uncensored truth regarding the human, extraterrestrial, global, and political agenda. Click the like button and subscribe to this channel. And now, here's Dr. Michael Salla.
Welcome, Elena, and welcome to Thor Han.
Thank you, Michael. And Thor Han is connected to me and very impassioned and impatient and happy to do this.
This is wonderful. Well, I know the last time we communicated with Thor Han during a road trip towards Nashville, Tennessee, we talked about the hub that the Galactic Federation, the Andromeda Council, Ashtar Command was working on in collaboration with the Earth Alliance and Space Command. So can you give us an update on the hub? Where does that stand right now?
Okay, so I'm going to repeat what he's saying. Regarding the hub in the Jupiter orbit, the construction has gone forward. Many ships have been linked to the central mothership, offered kindly by the Altians from the Intergalactic Confederation. Many tunnels have joined the ships together, and now it is starting to look like the first ring is about to be completed. We have welcomed some technicians and workers from the Space Force, military personnel from Terra. They are working preparing the facility for them to settle and have their own hub, Terra military hub, in one of the ships anchored to the central mothership.
So this Altian mothership, which is at the core of the hub, we could call that a space ark. Is that something that is like brand new, that's just been recently constructed, or is it like an ancient space ark that's being repurposed to be used for the hub?
This is one of the motherships that came with the fleet from the Intergalactic Confederation. This mothership was offered as a gift. It becomes the center of the hub. You call it ark. This is right. This corresponds to some arks, ancient motherships from different races of the Intergalactic Confederation, left on your planet Terra and several other planets of this star system.
Now, with these arks that were left on Terra in ancient history, I mean, we know there are 24 cedar races. So is it correct to estimate that there are 24 space arks buried all over the Earth that correspond to one of the cedar races?
This is not exactly correct. 24 arks from the Intergalactic Confederation. Some of the members of the Intergalactic Confederation group you name the Cedars do not travel in motherships. So some motherships are double or triple from some civilizations, members of the Cedars, but the 24 number is representative of the Cedars group, and they hide the technology of each personal member of this group.
So, with using this cedar mothership that was used as the foundation or the core for this hub, with advanced technologies and more ships around it, that's the same pattern for earlier civilizations like the Alta civilization, Atlantis, that is kind of similar pattern?
This is exact. The Altians like to build such as this, and also the Batal and other members. 4 groups are building their colonies as such. The Altians founded Atla, which was built on Altian, mothership.
So you said that this Altean mothership that's at the core of the hub that's being built now is a gift to humanity, to the Earth Alliance and Space Force and Space Command. So does that gift mean that the technologies on it are kind of like available to be studied and to be reverse engineered or used in some way by Earth scientists?
Yes, this is exact, correct. The technology will be available for all Terran military at first, and then civilians and scientific organizations. The Altians also gift in this mothership other technologies belonging to other groups belonging to the Seeders, and you will have access to all the technologies that are implemented, that's what you say? Implemented, thank you, in the Intergalactic Confederation. Speak slower, please. Thank you.
Okay, so with the mothership at the core of the hub, does that mean it's only Altean starseeds with the right DNA and consciousness that can go in to activate these technologies to then share with Space Force, with the scientists of the Earth Alliance?
This is correct.
Perfect. Okay, so is this what they're doing now? Are they looking for starseeds with the right consciousness and DNA to be able to interact with the Altean mothership that's forming the hub?
This is not the priority. The priority of finding the star seeds envoy, as you name them, belonging to the Intergalactic Confederation, that are on Terra, are to localize these people, that they can use the technologies that have been hidden on Terra for such a long time. The same people will be also able to access the technologies that are offered in this mothership in the orbit of Jupiter.
So when will the hub, which of course is the entire infrastructure that's being built around this Altean mothership, when will the hub be complete?
We do not know for certain yet, but it will take from 1 to 2 years.
So that the completion of the hub, we can expect that to happen soon. So once that is completed, what will happen next? I mean, will the hub be disclosed? Is that up to the Earth Alliance? What's going to happen?
The hub will be already disclosed during its construction. It is already known to the Terran military, certain sector of industry which participate in this construction. After the Galactic Federation includes Terra as member, the civilians will have access to the hub, all the facilities. It will be very interesting for the Terran to discover our cultures, our facilities, our enjoyment places, and all the technology that will serve science and evolution, not only physically, but also the technology will be with consciousness, and the Terrans will have access to some facilities where they will be able to experience expansion of consciousness.
So the primary function of the Ark then is to act as this kind of like intergalactic community that Terrans can come to and just interface with, whether it's to see and to experience a different culture, or whether it's to kind of like participate in scientific research and development, or developing some kind of like exotic arts or sciences? Is that really something that all humanity is going to be allowed to access in some way?
This will be a place of enjoyment, research, sharing, discoveries, and adventures, okay, and trade. This hub is the response to a demand from the Intergalactic Confederation, which decided that Ganymede wasn't big enough to sustain a large amount of visitors. Now that your star system is free, the vortex is becoming, how would I say, a place of trade, and we need to secure this place of trade for the exchanges. With this hub, there will be a military presence. This hub will welcome civilizations from this galaxy, even the farthest quadrant and other galaxies, and it will be very interesting for the Terrans to interface with these new visitors. Trade will be regulated. This needs to be. You will discover what it is like to be part of an intergalactic culture, because when you join membership with the Galactic Federation of Worlds, you become instantly member of the Intergalactic Confederation. The Terrans will be able to experience all these new cultures. They cannot do this now. I am speaking about the civilians, because it will be a shock, cultural shock for them. Okay.
Well, I know that there was a television series called Deep Space Nine based on the Star Trek series, where you have a kind of like this space station that was a hub for trade and intergalactic communication. Is this kind of like what we're looking at with the hub?
I recall this series. Elena watched it. I was interested because it depicts your near future. This creator, Gene Roddenberry, it is not him who produced this new series you are mentioning, but he gave the plan with all the instructions to his followers to continue producing this series of movies. And what can you say else? The vortex is the same vortex as the Jupiter Stargate. Deep Space Nine, the facility is a reflection of the hub in the near future. Your planet was liberated from Enlil and Sikaar. The reptilians are represented in this series as the enemy who left the planet after the Federation won upon them. This is true. This is your future reality.
One of the things that I've speculated about is that Gene Roddenberry had been given information from the future about humanity, and that his series, Star Trek and the Deep Space Nine, that these were based on kind of like future events that had been revealed to him, that had been disclosed to him through a US Navy disclosure program. Is that kind of like correct?
We gave this information to your Terra military a long time ago, and this information was to be infused in your society through this media. Gene Roddenberry performed the program he was given through a visual and movie representation of this program. It needed not to be exact, because if it was exact, this series would have never been authorized by your enemy. Deep Space Nine represents the last stage of the program. After this series, nothing belongs to the program.
Yes, I mean, I watched the series. There was I really thought that the planet Bajor in the series was like so clear that that represented the Earth. You know, there was a long-term occupation by these Cardassians, like reptilians, and the Earth was going through a transition, a liberation, to be eventually incorporated into the Federation. So I thought it was a really interesting kind of like series that depicted what we see now really happening.
This series, I had an interest while Elena watched it some years ago. This series, I noticed that there is a warning, not only about the liberation from the reptilian people, but also from the slower please. You know you're excited. But also about the liberation of the people from themselves on Bajor planet. The spiritual liberation needs to happen and is largely mentioned in this series. Yes, this is series. Sorry. It is largely mentioned in this series that the people of planet Bajor needs to liberate themselves from a spiritual tyranny that is blocking their evolution. This is quite well done. Do you see the message?
Yes, I think the message is very clear, and I think the series was very well done. Now, in the series, you have the portal, and that corresponds to this Jupiter stargate or this Jupiter portal.
Correct.
Is this Jupiter portal something that could be exploited by a potential enemy to kind of come through, similar to how in the Deep Space Nine series you had the Dominion coming through this portal and threatening, you know, not only Bajor but the entire Federation. So this Jupiter portal, is it something that, I mean, obviously represents opportunity for trade, intergalactic trade, but also is there a potential threat?
Yes, it is. This is why it is largely protected. The Ashtar command will be enforced, and Jupiter planet will be more crowded with the military forces of the Ashtar Galactic Command. Also, the Intergalactic Confederation will stay here and remain in the facility with different cultures present in their military protection. The Earth Alliance will grow in power, Space Force will grow in power, and this area of your star system will be largely protected because the portal, although I'm looking for the right term. We have protected all the frequency access to this star system with all the other portals. And we are sure it is safe, but we are never protected from incursion and intrusions into your star system through this portal. This will be a threat, of course, and we need to be vigilant. It will be highly secured. The frequency keys from certain cultures and their ships have been disabled, but we will be here to protect this portal.
Is there a formal agreement or collaboration between the Ashtar Command and the Earth Alliance?
Yes, they are working together. They have been working together since 1932.
Let me see. So the last time we talked, you mentioned that China was staying outside of these agreements that had been reached between the Earth Alliance Space Command with the Galactic Federation and the Ashtar Command. Is that still the case? Is China outside of that framework?
China is a problem. They are trying to build force in your space outside of your planet using your satellite, Luna. They will not succeed and it will lead to their defeat, their economic failure. They are trying to gather allies, but the allies will not remain. China wants to compete. They have honor, and they do not like to be put aside. When the Jupiter agreements occurred, they didn't like what was decided. Now they still remain as wanting to build their own power. I am looking at what I say, not to tell you words that could be misled into understanding something different. China is not a threat in space, but they will fight for a long time to build their own power. They will not succeed. They would agree to start a war. By honor. This is stupid and will not happen.
So as far as the hub is concerned and the kind of technology sharing and research happening on the hub, so China is largely excluded because it has not agreed to ratify or be part of the Jupiter Accords. Is that correct?
Countries members of the Artemis Accords have total access, free access to the Jupiter hub. Those countries having a space presence who are not members of the Artemis Accords have no access to the hub.
Okay, that's good to know. So I know China at the moment has set up its own lunar research program to establish a moon base, and there are 15 signatories, but only I think 5 nations. I think they include China, Russia, Pakistan, and a couple of other nations. So my question is Russia. Well, Russia. How is Russia involved as far as the hub is concerned?
Russia, as it may surprise you, will have access to the hub because Russia holds a good power within the Earth Alliance. I may tell you something now, Michael. China, the forces building the Space Force in space and your satellite Luna are the same people who own the negative faction of the American US government, what you call the deep state. These are the one playing different countries against each other. It is happening also at the moment with the war that you are aware of in Middle East. The ones behind China soaring in space are the same ones who own all the banks, the deep states, the pyramid that you know, which is metaphorically based in US. So you know, Michael, China is not entirely owned by these people. It is the half of China. The rest of China are good governments and white hats. Russia functions on the same system. Russia has also a deep presence of your enemy, human enemy, groomed by Enlil reptilians who are gone. But Russia at the head of this country, the person is with the white hats as you call them, Earth Alliance. Russia will have access to the hub because Russia does not seek war. They seek economic interference when the dark ones are generating it. Russia will have access to the hub because of his leader. He is part of the Earth Alliance.
That's good to know. So Vladimir Putin is part of the Earth Alliance.
Correct.
Okay. Well, I wanted to ask about the moon bases that are building the medbeds and the advanced healing technologies that were created after Ea shared the Adamic DNA with the Galactic Federation that then passed on the codes to the EA shared those codes with the Galactic Federation and then passed it on to Space Command and the Earth Alliance. So any kind of update on these medbeds that the Earth Alliance and Space Command had built on the moon to eventually be made available to the people of Earth?
These medical beds are mass produced at the moment, not only on Luna. The factories on Luna are saturated. The medical beds are ready. We are now developing on Luna, in coordination with the Earth Alliance, facilities for healing. It will be a medical place. First, it serves just for the moment to the military, Terra military, who have been wounded in the last conflict with extra galactic beings. Now we are developing facilities, medical facilities to help heal the civilians. Slowly, civilians are going to be brought to Luna to heal. But regarding the implementation of the medical bed, we still need to get things in order on Terra.
Is there any idea on how these medbed facilities on the moon will be made available to the people on Terra? Will it be done on the basis of the seriousness of injuries? Will it be done on people's, how will those be made available?
The scientific medical community will decide of the priority order. Of what I know, the children are priority.
Will the facilities be used for things like, I guess, people suffering severe injuries like missing limbs? What about, say, age rejuvenation, which is a big interest to many people?
It is significant, Michael, that you mention age longevity, because I want to tell you this. The persons who will be prioritary, as I suppose, will be those whose life is endangered for longevity, to preserve their genetic heritage. And these people who should live longer and have diseases that stop their longevity, alters their lifespan, will be in the priority on the top of this list, I presume.
Okay, so we can assume then it's people that are, say, like 70 years old, but in good health. It's not as though they can just say, yeah, I want to go to the moon and get into a medbed so I can be like a randy 30-year-old again.
I know, Michael, you would like this to happen to you and others. Elena knows, and I know also. Unfortunately, those with endangered life will be prioritary. Diseases such as cancer, genetic malfunction, and other deadly diseases will be prioritary upon people with good health.
So one of the things that I think is very helpful to kind of like differentiate is that the age rejuvenation potential of these technologies on the moon, that's one path. The other path is the alchemical path. JP talked about the tree of life that the ant people were protecting, and that the seeds of that were given to the Earth Alliance to be shared for humanity. So that suggests that there's another process, another path, an alchemical path, or being in tune with nature, or there are certain plants that can prolong life. So what do you know of that?
This is very significant that you are asking this question, Michael, for yourself, as you were saying with humor. You can do this to prolongate your lifespan. But regarding those people who have diseases or genetic malfunctions, they do not have the capacity to meditate and increase their consciousness, expand their consciousness. They are not able to give the impulse to do this and heal themselves. They need the help of technology. Individuals who are in pain are not able to access higher states of consciousness.
Oh, that's a very important point. So people that still have that state of mind or health to be able to achieve high states of consciousness, this pathway of alchemy, the tree of life, is something that they can explore, and that can lead to this kind of like age rejuvenation that, of course, is becoming very important to a lot of people.
This is exact.
Okay, perfect. Well, I wanted to ask about a recent development concerning the Galactic Federation that Elena announced at the conference concerning the Negumak. So what does that mean, that the Negumak have ratified or agreed to this, to becoming full members of the Galactic Federation of Worlds?
Good question, Michael. Well, this means that now we are more powerful than the Sikaar Empire. And the Sikaar Empire will be defeated when the time comes. For the Sikaar Empire now, despite the fact they cannot reach out to Terra, they are reaching out to other star systems and causing harm, great harm to other worlds. And this needs to be stopped. You understand that Terra is not the only place in this galaxy where the Sikaar Empire is causing harm, has caused harm, for they are not there anymore. The Sikaar Empire, now we have the means to destroy it, and we will. Not for the moment when the right time comes. Now, what does this mean for you? You are tremendously protected. Nothing can happen anymore to your star system, not even through the portals. Even if we commit a mistake, letting enter enemies through the Jupiter Stargate, we will be able to instantly respond, and they will be destroyed, neutralized at the most. Negumak Nomopo are a very powerful culture. They are now members of the Galactic Federation of Worlds of Nataru, and we are the most powerful force. We are now invincible in this whole galaxy, and it is a great news now that this potential threat that was the Negumak Gnomopo culture is now on the good side of justice and balance.
I recently interviewed a Bosnian pyramid researcher, Dr. Sam Osmanagic, and he found evidence showing these ancient reptilian and kind of like Negumak-looking insectoids fighting. That he thought that there's evidence that these alien predator movies depicting these two types of ETs fighting were based in fact. So is that actually what happened in ancient Earth history, that at some point there were battles between the Negumak and the Draconians on Earth?
The Negumak went into your star system a very long time ago, the time before the flood that you call Dryas. Younger Dryas? Correct. The Negumak incursed into your star system, fought against the Sikaar. People remembered, the planet Tyr that you call Mars had a presence of Negumak. They had an outpost there, not now anymore, but they fought against the Sikaar. The great war that occurred into your star system with the explosion and destruction of the fifth planet. The Negumak were involved. The Negumak left after this conflict, but on Terra, population remembered because the colons who were on Mars, the humans and the people of the insect realm, came on Earth and told the stories.
Well, I want to shift now to one of the trouble spots, one of the main trouble spots on Earth, which is Ukraine. And we received information from you in the past confirming some intelligence we got from JP that there was a spacer buried in a province of Ukraine called Kherson under the Oleshky Sands National Park. So this space ark that is buried there, which Cedar civilization did that belong to? And was that the basis for an ancient civilization there in Ukraine? or the territory of Ukraine.
This arc under Ukraine, this territory, was a compound of different cedar races. I told you some arcs are different. They are compounds of different cultures from the cedar group, because all the 24 are not representative of all each one culture, but the number was important. This arc under Ukraine is very important. The technology in this arc is very sought after because it contains technologies from different cedars cultures. As you can understand, all these technologies are different and they are all interesting because they offer different possibilities for reproduction of technology by the Terran military in the negative faction. So arc in Ukraine is very important to retrieve for them.
So this arc in Ukraine, some time back in history, right now that area, Oleshki Sands National Park, is just barren. But sometime back in history, it was a flourishing civilization with advanced technologies that were supplied by the ark, or what was inside the ark. Is that correct?
This is correct. In this place, there was a colony from the Intergalactic Confederation, a small colony, although the ark was a great ship. They built a city around it, and not far on this planet, in the same area, you can find pyramids buried under vegetation. Can you say the location? This is what you call East Central Europe. Okay.
So right now, the Ukraine conflict, there appears to be an effort by the Ukrainian army to launch an offensive to retake Kherson, to retake the area where the ark is. So to me, that's a sign that the Ukraine conflict, a major factor, maybe not the only factor, but a major factor is that, as you said, competing factions are trying to fight for control of the space ark.
Let me tell you something, Michael. Why would Terran factions of military fight so hard and I do not want to scare by the word disaster and killing and slaughtering people. This is negative talking, but that's what they did. They slaughter civilians to recuperate a peninsula that is barren with nothing on it. This doesn't make sense. This is because this peninsula is the hub for a lot of laboratories and facilities that the negative one built around the ark. They wanted to exploit the technology of the ark for their own benefit, creating centers for genetic modification and research. They wanted to create creatures and people who would have special abilities. They started to build an army of clones with advanced capacities in this area underground. They were experimenting also on diseases that would be spread into the atmosphere. They experimented a lot of weapons. This facility under this peninsula in Ukraine is the hub for different laboratories experimenting weapons on this planet to slaughter the population. This would have been extremely dramatic for the whole population of Terra if their plans would have reached completion. But now, do not worry. This will not happen. The facilities have been taken by the Earth Alliance and the hybrids liberated and taken to medical facilities. Unfortunately, I regret to say that many of these hybrids have been terminated because they were not only in pain, but very powerful weapons programmed with artificial intelligence, linked an interface with biology, and this shall not live I am sorry to say we terminated their lives. This was necessary. We are not prone to do this, but it was necessary. They were taken off world, and this was done.
So it would be accurate to say then that Vladimir Putin, when he authorized the limited military operation against Ukraine and took over the region of Kherson, that this was one of his motivations to take control of these underground laboratories and facilities that were exploiting technologies from the space arc for creating clones, biological weapons, and other kind of weapons of mass destruction, that was one of the major factors that influenced his decision?
Vladimir Putin did not have interest in the Ark, for he has access to this technology freely. I will not say more about this topic. He authorized these operations to put an end to the laboratories and the factories of hybrids, because this would have destroyed your planet. This particular operation was the key operation for the humans on your planet to liberate it. This was the singularity operation that liberated your planet from the potential tyranny and occupation of your human dark ones, putting an end to this production of diseases and clones has liberated your planet. Now, this point is reached where you are going through a positive future. Vladimir Putin has been. There are things I cannot say about him, but he was really depicted as a dark one. He is not a dark one. Be sure that he is for humanity and working with humanity and for humanity, whoever he is.
Okay. Well, I would like to now move over to the Israel-Palestine conflict, and it does seem that many people have made the claim, and I would agree, that this attack by the Hamas terrorist group against the Israeli Palestinians, that was against the Israeli citizens, that was actually allowed. And we know there's a famous journalist, Seymour Hersh, who said that 2 out of 3 Israeli army battalions were withdrawn just prior to the attack, allowing it to happen. So, was this attack allowed to happen, and why?
We didn't authorize this attack. This was a human conflict. Despite the fact we tried to put a limit to the casualties, we rescued a lot of civilians. But, as High Commander Jor-El told you, this was organized by the deep state. The 2 factions in this war are owned by the same people, and they played this to induce people to draw their attention to this part of the world, while other priority events are happening on this planet regarding the evolution of your planet and the disclosure of the truth. This planet, what happened there in Israel and the area, has been an attention that was drawn for the people, that you are worried, but also this is an industry, you understand, industry for these 2 parties to get the most as they can with the profit before they fail, because they are failing. These 2 factions are owned by the same people who hold the financial keys of your system on Terra.
Now, many people have the question, well, with the Israeli-Palestine conflict, why doesn't the Galactic Federation stop this? And so I think that it's because they leave it up to the Earth Alliance to sort out our kind of geopolitical problems. But please, if you, Thor Han, would like to explain, from your perspective, why the Galactic Federation can or can't intervene in these kind of conflicts.
You are not member as a planetary culture of the Galactic Federation of Worlds. This means that we do not have authorization to take part in your inner conflicts, humans against humans, led by humans and owned by humans. Now we have intervened through the Earth Alliance. This is why we create these alliances. When the planetary cultures are threatened by an outside threat and not able to be protected by us directly, we create alliances that these planets are able to fight for themselves with our resources to help.
Can the Solar Warden space program intervene? I mean, that is a multinational alliance. Can't they come in and stop this conflict?
Solar Warden program intervening in such a conflict would disturb disclosure.
So there's a disclosure plan, and Solar Warden for the moment is staying behind the scenes. So it would be fair to say that this actually is part of the awakening process, that this Israel-Palestine conflict is part of humanity's awakening, so that the conditions are created for Solar Warden and disclosure to happen.
The Dark One have created the operation of the Palestine-Israel conflict. This is not part of the plan of disclosure of the truth. But when you look behind the reality of what you see, there is a higher view, a higher sight, perspective, where you can see that there is a higher will from Source. All the wounds, are made for discovering that you can heal yourself. Source is playing actors to create and enable evolution. What you see on Terra, this is difficult to explain to many Terrans because those who are in suffering and in pain are unable to hear. This is also playing a role in your opening of consciousness and your evolution as a planetary culture and a planetary consciousness, because these dark people who are creating wars, owning the financial systems, the petrol industries, are also actors from Source. You understand all of this plays for evolution. When you have a conflict, it makes you stronger and more intelligent, so you can fight it, and also it opens your consciousness.
So I know in the past, Una has said that 2023 would be the year of disclosure or the liberation. And Thor Han has said that that's been pushed back a little bit to 2024. So is this still kind of like where we are heading as a planet, that there is going to be a grand liberation, disclosure, the truth emerging, maybe after early 2024 or sometime in 2024 now?
The Great Disclosure Plan should have happened in 2023, when I gave the update device, the definitive plan, to General Van Herk. This implied that there was a delay, and we have been rethinking again what should be done. So 2024 should be the year where the end of the disclosure happens, but I may say the dark ones who still control this world at a financial and economic level are going to fight so hard to stay, and this would cause maybe a delay. We do not hope so.
So the information the Galactic Federation has been giving us is presenting this liberation of the planet as something that is destined to happen, whether it's end of 2023, 2024, or possibly even another delay. Eventually it will happen. So we are just going through a birthing process. So we need to stay optimistic and keep generating high vibrations to help help this birthing process of this liberated Earth to go forward. But there are others putting out information that, the Earth is controlled by dark ones, and the future is very much a doom and gloom, and we need a solar flash or some catastrophic event to reset everything. Is that like a separate timeline, or is that like propaganda?
There is one timeline. Those you mentioned who work with dark narratives are owned by the dark ones and work for them. They work for the enemies of humanity. Whatever delay is happening, just observe, Michael. The delay allows you more opportunity to evolve in consciousness. Take all the deception and take all the harm that is done to this world and take it as a tool to uncover the reality of your own consciousness. How do you react to this? How can you process this and see the higher picture above this? What is behind generating this at the scale of the universe, at the comprehension of source and the will and the plans of the greater creator? What is this? Try to understand all the harm and the delays work in truth for the evolution of humanity. This is an opportunity that is given to humanity for understanding and be more prepared when the truth comes out. So, it may seem painful, but at the end of the game, it serves your evolution, it prepares you better. The more the delays are stretched, the more you have and you gain opportunity to prepare yourself. So this is a good challenge. The dark ones cannot win whenever they try to do something to drag humanity down in vibration. So it serves still the evolution of consciousness. Take all what happens as a challenge and a tool and a step to step upon.
So my final question is, what would you say to people who feel that they're at the end of the road, that they're at their limits, that whether it's through financial difficulties or health problems, or whether it's emotional issues, that they feel they can't wait anymore, that they're at the end of the line, and it's like, why isn't the Galactic Federation? What would you say to these people?
I know it is difficult, Michael, to tell them that they should keep hope, because these people are in pain. They are exhausted, as many on this planet are. I would tell them to look at all the beauty that is around them. Enjoy life, because yes, they are exhausted. Yes, they are in pain, but look at the breath of life. They can breathe and they can enjoy the sunlight on their face and their family and loved ones. Seek the happiness in the moments that are allowed to you. Think that every breath that comes into your lungs and out of your lungs is a gift. Every second that is bestowed to you is a gift from Source, and you need to honor it and celebrate it. When you see no hope, celebrate the present. And the present, if you celebrate it, will create a hopeful future, because you will ground into who you are. I recommend these people do meditation and find the happiness in the second, every second that are offered to them, to breathe and to feel the sun of your star on your face.
So I'll turn it over to you, Elena. If you have any questions for Thor Han.
What will come to my mind? What would you advise, Thor Han, to people who are lost, who feel lost and want to communicate with ETs, and they want proof. They want proof that you are here. They want proof that you are behind the scenes, and they really want to see you. Look up, look in your skies. You see us every day. You need to open your consciousness to a higher vibration, and you will see our ships who are cloaked in the 3rd density level and are not cloaked in the 5th density level. There is no cloaking of ships in the 5th density. You should look up. You see us, and also in your heart. You can connect with the consciousness and the presence. I will tell you, people, what is generated by all our ships. You know, there are several thousands of our ships in your star system now. It is a lot of ships. We create consciousness shield, and we can let you feel it. If you open your heart, you feel our presence in your skies, and you can feel our consciousness, the field of the consciousness of all our ships. And this is a magnificent experience. You should feel us and feel us near. Have you ever noticed when you see one of our ships, there is a connection in consciousness? You know, you feel, and imagine now all the hundreds of thousands of people like us in your star systems. I will say now millions in your counting. We are here, and our field of consciousness is communicating with yours. Try to connect the morphogenic field of your planet to our field of consciousness. There is a lot to gain. In this way, your consciousness will evolve to a higher level to connect with intergalactic and galactic cultures. This is what you can do, and it will be magnificent to experience.
Well, I want to thank you, Thor Han, for communicating with us and answering my questions. It's been an honor talking to you, and I look forward to our next opportunity to talk.
Michael, it was my honor and pleasure, for I know you are playing an important role in the truth, in the development of the knowledge of truth on this planet, and I was eager to do this conversation with you. I wish you all the best, and I know you will go further in the development of truth on this planet for the civilians. For your mission is to let the civilians know what is truly happening, and we are helping you on this, sending you the right persons. My pleasure.
You have been listening to Exopolitics today with Dr. Michael Salla. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Join or start a conversation in the comments. Take the time to explore the vast library of best-selling books, webinars, and podcasts by Dr. Salla. Visit exopoliticstoday.com.